All right, good morning, everybody. I think we're having some technical issues here where you guys unfortunately can't see my screen. So that's going to be an issue, and I apologize. I've been trying to get a hold of my technical assistance, but I'm really not sure what's going on. I'm having some technical issues here. So this is going to be a bit different than this morning. I apologize. But I've got some important things to go through. And again, I'm still going to try to somehow share my screen. But, technical issues are just a fabulous thing to have, especially at short notice. So I do apologize. We'll be surely having it back up tomorrow. I have no clue why it's not sharing the screen. It's software updates or something stupid. So my apologies for that. Let's just check on audio. Can you guys at least hear me? Maybe that might be a good place to start. If you guys can hear me, just give me a quick yes in the chat box if you don't mind, quickly, and then we'll go through some things here. Again, I wish I could share my screen, but it's just stupid. So apologies for that. Yeah, you can. All right. All right, good. So again, obviously apologies for that. I'm gonna make this a bit larger. So um, again, if you're just joining, unfortunately my screen share is not working, so this makes this only half as good. But let's go through a few things. So um, this is so incredibly frustrating. Apologize. Um, Several things, and this is in no sort of significant order of importance, but we do have markets closed tomorrow. Um, Obviously, as we honor the former President Carter, and so the point, as far as the markets are concerned, is we're going to then come back Friday morning with a jobs report. So if you're managing positions, it's probably good to keep that in mind, that any trades that you uh, don't want to have exposed to the jobs report may be something to take advantage of or take care of today. Okay. And again, if you're just joining, my apologies. My stupid screen share is not working, so we'll have it back up tomorrow. We are actually going to go live tomorrow, even though market's closed. So that's just from a risk management perspective, or I guess from a yeah. Then bond yields. So this is obviously the big one. If you have been listening to kind of our view for the past, several quarters, basically since last April, I still think the higher for longer inflation is going to be here for us. It's shocking to me how few people seem to care about that, how few people know what that means. But it basically means that technology stocks, and to put it very bluntly and simply, it basically means that technology stocks as a sector, and I'm addressing that specifically because I know that's what everyone's allocated, could underperform. No, Serge did not say tech stocks are going to crash. No, he did not say Nvidia is a shitty company. None of that. So stop adding me with that kind of crap. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that tech could underperform in that environment, given the fact that everyone's 80% long tech, that could hurt a portfolio. So if you're interested in actually owning inflation, right, making money from higher for longer inflation, you need to be in the proper assets, and that is not really tech stocks, right? That's a lot of other stuff, including energy and some gold and materials and stuff like that. We have a portfolio manager at Blue Marlin. You guys can go check that out. You can go to bluemarlinadvisor.com/go and subscribe to that portfolio. But more importantly is what's happening now already, right? The clues are there. The 10-year treasury yield is 4.7, 4.75, probably going to 5 would be my guess. 30-year gilts, that's in the UK. They're now back to levels they were last in 1998. Basically, what's happening is the US is exporting inflation. Look at French government bond yields. Of course, you're thinking right now, Serge, I don't give a shit about French bond yields. I only care about my Nvidia stock. I'll get to Nvidia in a second. But the point is that's going to bite a lot more and matter a lot more for overall wealth, trades, and investments than what Nvidia does day to day. So just keep that in mind. And again, if you're just joining, I apologize for not being able to share my screen. It's incredibly frustrating just to have some technical issues. I'll get it taken off here a little bit later on. Also, I should say our 3-day bootcamp starts in about 20 minutes. So if you haven't signed up yet, you still have a minute. We're going to do live trades. We're going to spend 3 days going through strategies. I'm going to reveal at least one strategy every day. Everyone also gets our trend rule or indicator that we use and go through. I'll show you a portfolio specifically that tends to do well during inflation. So that's all going to start happening in 20 minutes from now. If you guys haven't signed up for that yet, just make sure you email support@thestateoftrade.com. They can get you up and running. I want to get to Nvidia in just 1 second because I do think yesterday's move was important. But again, you know, the bond yields going higher is going to matter for portfolios, and so I think that's really the key here. We need to be cognizant of. So, you know, maybe look at your portfolio. Remember, I can't give you investment advice here. This is just educational. But you know, if you're mostly long tech stocks in your portfolio, which most people are, if you're long the S&P 500, you're mostly long a few tech stocks. Just so you know, right? So there's other ways of doing that. But just know that bond yields will matter, and that's going to cause an issue. I think the days of just owning the S&P and hoping for 15-20% rallies for the year, I think those days are over. And so it's going to get much more difficult. You really need to learn and be willing to learn. If you're unwilling to learn, give you money to someone else, which most people should do anyway, to manage. You know, when markets get more difficult, and notice I'm not using the word crash, but more difficult, people lose a lot of money. It doesn't take much for people to give back between 30 and 70% of their gains that they've made for the past few years in a matter of 1 year by not knowing how to actually, how the markets operate. A lot of people are no longer interested in learning how the markets operate, either because they're too old, they think they're too old, or they just don't care, or they're too busy, or whatever. Ultimately, that always comes back to bite, right? And I think this could be the year where that bites, but it's also the year where I think people who know how to trade, who are willing to learn, can make a crazy ton of money. So there's actually one trade already that this morning I was short the S&P. This is just a day trade, and early morning before I went to the gym. And so there's a lot of trades there that can be made in this environment. Let's talk about Nvidia though. And again, once again, I apologize. My screen sharing is not working this morning, so we'll get it sorted by tomorrow. But Nvidia's outside day yesterday. So what's an outside day? An outside reversal day is a day when the market opens up and closes down lower. So I'm just looking at my chart here, and again, I know you can't see it, so I just feel so stupid not being able to share the screen. But if you look at Nvidia, the stock yesterday was down 6%. That's before the stock was actually up on the day by about almost 2%. So that's like an 8% swing in 1 day. Now, you know, the really bearish person will say this is a double top. I'm not willing to go that far. But typically now, against yesterday's highs for Nvidia, which was around 152 and change, there are opportunities to put on some trades on the bearish side for a trade. For those of you guys that like to do options trades, I'm not against the idea of putting on an options bear call spread against those yesterday's intraday highs in Nvidia. Again, this is like literally a 1 to 2 week trade. So no, I'm not bearish Nvidia. No, I don't, whatever. All these things that people, you know, they put words in your mouth. None of that. It's just a trade. But just notice that a day like yesterday, that price action, unless it very quickly sorts itself out again, meaning unless you very quickly rally back today, and that is possible. It's always possible, right? But it's not very likely. The more likely outcome here is that Nvidia now consolidates more, at least sideways, maybe a little bit lower. So we'll see. But again, if we break back above yesterday's highs, then you know that trade's over. So that's what's nice about these kind of setups. Like an outside day reversal, we know exactly if the stock goes back above, you know, 152, 152.50, you know, the bull case is right back on from a trading perspective. The long-term investment case, I think, is still intact. But so that's kind of the thing on that. So again, If you're just joining, apologies, can't show the screen today. Technical issues. I feel like an idiot. We'll get it resolved for tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to get on a call with my IT team as soon as I can here, once we're done with the boot camp here this morning. Are there any questions that I can help you address here for the next day or two? Obviously, as I said, tomorrow U.S. markets are closed in observance of former President Carter. And of course, then on Friday, we come back with the jobs report before the market opens. So from a risk management perspective, it's probably a good idea to take care of any position trimming or whatever one wants to do. If you don't want to be exposed to the jobs report on Friday, one would have to do that probably today. It's just, again, because U.S. markets are closed tomorrow, it's kind of an anomaly. So those are the top few things here this morning. We will be back here tomorrow morning. I will be able to share my screen. So again, I do apologize. For those people that are joining our boot camp, we're getting started in less than 15 minutes. So I'm going to go grab some water. I'll see you guys over there. If you are in the boot camp, you have the link. We're going to start off with some live trades. We're going to go through the portfolio, the higher inflation for longer portfolio that so few people have cared about yet, which is, to me, mind-boggling. But of course, now that yields are going back towards 5%, people are starting to realize what we talked about for 2 quarters. And we'll basically do 1 to 2 strategies a day, today, tomorrow, and Friday morning. So thanks so much, folks. And again, I do apologize for the lack of screen sharing. We'll get it back up again tomorrow. See you guys in the boot camp here starting in 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes, and have a great trading day otherwise. Take care.